All right, let's welcome our contestants for this week. Originally from Syracuse, New York, received his doctorate from Howard University and is the assistant professor of educational leadership at Townsend University in Baltimore. He is the host of The Movement with Kemet and Kofi, which airs on Howard University television. Kofi LeNiles, what's up, sir? How are you?
I'm doing well. Happy to be here. It's good to see you, Clay.
That's good to see you too, brother. And we also have friend of the show, originally from Indianapolis, Indiana, received his doctorate from the University of Maryland at College Park and is the professor of educational leadership and policy studies at Howard University in DC. He is also the host of The Movement with Kemet and Kofi. Kemet Shockley, what's up, sir? How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So I'm excited for this Black Trivia quiz because y'all are educators. So it's going to be a tad bit harder than it normally is.
Oh no.
So it's a good time. Like, it's basically, even if you don't know it, we're all going to learn. We're all going to learn a little something. So I'm just excited for this. And then, of course, we'll talk more about The Movement with Kemet and Kofi. I love that y'all are doing this. All right. So basically, I'm going to ask y'all a bunch of questions. Whoever gets the most points wins. If we were in person, I would give somebody like an S-curl box, or, something, but we're not in person, so it's just bragging rights. You know what I mean? But it's still a good time. All right, so here we go.
All right.
First question for Black Trivia Quiz on this Black History Month. What was the name that Kwame Ture was given at birth? Think about it. Iconic activist Kwame Ture. What was the name that he was given at birth? His government name. The government name. Okay, y'all look like you're pretty secure with you.
Yeah.
Okay, let's break it down. Let's start with Kofi. Kofi, what you got? Bring your paper up.
Stokely Carmichael.
Carmichael. Kemet, what you have?
Stokely Carmichael.
Stokely Carmichael. See, we start because we got to win. We start good at the beginning. I love it. All right, so we got Kemi 1, Kofi 1. All right.
Right.
Nice. The phenomenal Stokely Carmichael. Gotta love it.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Now I try and mix it up. I try and do a little educational, then I try and do a little pop culture. So this is a little bit more pop culture music, but just think about this for a minute.
Uh-oh.
Who wrote the 1964 #1 hit, My Guy by Mary Wells, and the 1966 #1 hit, My Girl by The Temptations? Who wrote that song? Now think about it. This is Motown. It's not even that common. It's Motown legends, the Motown sound. You think of the big songwriters during Motown. You know what I mean? This is, give it up for the 1960s, the big #1 hits.
Okay,
Mary Wells and The Temptations. It's probably who you think it is. I'll give you a hint. It's not Berry Gordy, but it's probably who you think it is.
That was the only guess I had.
Come on now. You got Kemet and Kofi.
All right, I'll try one more. This is totally
it's not Berry Gordy. It's not who you think it is. Think about it, process it on this Black Trivia quiz.
Okay.
All right, let's bring it down. All right, Kemet, we'll start with you. Bring it up. Who do you have?
Hey, I just said Stevie Wonder. I have no idea.
Good try, but that's incorrect. Good try. What you got, Kofi?
I had Berry Gordy up here, but I switched it to Michael Jackson because
incorrect. Smokey Robinson, y'all.
Oh,
I could have been here for 2 years and would have never wrote his name down.
Smokey Robinson. Yo, Stephanie, when we go to the music thing, just play the R&B clips, being that the video team isn't on. All right. Smokey Robinson. Gotta love Smokey, right? Give Smoke. Yeah. I met him one time. He was real cool. All right. So it's all good. We got Kemet 1, Kofi 1. Y'all are tied. Yeah. Y'all brothers are tied.
Yes.
Next question. Who was the first Black woman to have her likeness depicted in National Statuary Hall in Washington, D.C.? Who was the first black? And this is a civil rights icon. First black woman to have her likeness depicted in National Statuary Hall in Washington, D.C. Civil rights icon.
Okay.
And it wasn't Harriet Tubman. A few folks just say Harriet Tubman for everything, which I love. And it wasn't Aaliyah. Shout out to Aaliyah.
I have a guess for you.
All right, let's start with
too.
Let's start with Kemet. What you got, Kemet?
I just put Ida B. Wells.
Good answer, but incorrect. Very good answer, though. I love Ida B. Wells. What you got, Kofi?
I went with the very well-known Rosa Parks.
Correct, Kofi.
Oh!
Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks in 2013. She had her likeness depicted in Statuary Hall. She would have been 108 years old during this time. But all right.
Wow.
Kofi,
Always good to hear her
it.
name.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next question. Which country was the first African republic to proclaim its independence?
Okay.
Which country was the first African republic to proclaim its independence? If you're just tuning in, this is Black Trivia Quiz with Kemet Shockley and Kofi LeNiles. Kemet is with Howard University, and Kofi is also at Howard. All right, let's bring it down. Let's start with Kofi. What you have?
I did Ghana or the Gold Coast.
Good answer, but incorrect. First African republic to proclaim its independence. What do you have, Kevin?
I put the same thing, Ghana.
Liberia in 1847.
Oh,
okay.
You're right. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Thinking of them.
Because you know that was the country that that good old Abraham Lincoln wanted to deport all of us to. He wanted to kick us all out to Liberia.
Yeah.
Liberia in 1847. Wow. It was the first African republic to proclaim its independence. All right.
All right.
All right. Next question. Let's stick with the great continent of Africa.
Sure.
Wonderful.
And I'm probably not even going to say that the name's right. I'm so embarrassed. All right. The 17th century Queen Nzinga ruled over the kingdom of Ndongo. That's Ndongo, which is in what modern day country? So where Queen Nzinga ruled in the 17th century, it was the kingdom of Ndongo, which is now what modern day country? Think about that, process it all. All right.
These are good questions, Clay.
Yeah. And listen, if you don't know, the great thing is now people know, because to be honest with you, I didn't know these things until I looked them up, to be honest with you.
Good questions.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with Kemet.
I said Angola.
Correct, Kemet. Correct. You better do it. That's amazing. All right, cool. Kofi, what do you have?
I have Angola.
Correct. Correct. Love that. You got your edge. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Queen Nzinga.
Education.
There you go. I think it's important to honor our history, even outside of over here in the Americas. But Angola, she ruled over that area, which is now Angola. So I love that. All right, so
Indeed.
we have Kofi with 3 and Kemet with 2. This is tight. I love it. All right. Now I'm gonna play you a clip of this legendary Black history figure. Very few folks have heard his speaking voice, but I want you to tell me who this person is. Clip number 2. Listen to this.
But America has changed. There was still a chance for some to rise and get rich, but the working classes were no longer generally able to buy land. Their wages did not amount to what they in reality earned, and those handicapped by race prejudice had small chance to overcome poverty and ignorance and disease. A class structure began to arise within the Negro group which produced haves and have-nots, and tended to encourage more successful Negroes to join the forces of monopoly and exploitation and help victimize their own classes.
Talking about class, talking about race. Play the music. Who was that legendary, that iconic Black intellectual? Think about it. Process it. Know a little bit of our history. I had to dig for that clip too. I had to dig all around for it. And to give you a hint, that's in 1964.
64.
Is it 64? Hold on. Let me double check that. It may not be. Keep that music playing. I might. Let me make sure I got that right. It is. Oh no, it's not 1964. It's in the late 1950s. Bring it down.
Gonna be a guess on this one.
What do you have? Start with Kofi. What do you have, Kofi?
Since it's Black History Month, I went with Carter G. Woodson, even though it really doesn't all the way fit.
Good answer, but incorrect. Good answer.
I don't know. I put E. Franklin Frazier.
I used to love E. Franklin Frazier. He had a big. What was it? The Myth of the Negro Past? Was that his book?
I believe so.
Oh my gosh, it was W.E.B. Du Bois.
Oh,
wow.
That was the yeah.
Oh wow.
There you go.
That was wow. I didn't know that. I've never heard his voice. I didn't know his voice was recorded.
His accent is very specific. It's very interesting. Yeah. So I had to hunt that down. But W.E.B. Du Bois, how about that? There we go.
Phenomenal.
See, we're just exactly. All right, let's go a little bit more modern. Folks might get offended that I even bring this person up, but a little bit of history. Who was the first Black Secretary of State? Who was the first Black man to be Secretary of State of these United States? Now, I know folks are going to complain on Twitter that I'm even bringing this person up today. We got to know what not to repeat. All right.
Yeah.
Let's bring it down. Kevin, what do you have?
I went with Colin Powell.
Colin Powell. There you go. What you got, Kofi?
Colin Powell.
Colin Powell. There you go. There you go. We got 3.
That one was easy.
I know, right? I got to mix it up. We got 3 Kemet, 4 Kofi. Y'all still back to back. And I'm going to have a killer 12-point question at the end.
Wow.
So you can get 12 points. So there could be a comeback. All right.
Wow.
Now let's keep on going. All right. What is the first Black law school to open in 1869?
1869.
The first Black law school to open, which was in 1869. And it probably is what your first thought. Probably your first thought. Here with Kemet and Kofi, hosts of The Movement with Kemet and Kofi, which you can watch it on Howard University Television, playing Black Trivia Quiz. And we want to know the first Black law school to open in 1869. Kofi, let's start with you. What do you have?
I went with my second guess. My first guess was Lincoln University, but I went with Howard University.
Correct.
Oh.
Howard University. What do you got, Kevin?
I said
Howard University. Y'all, this is like unprecedented. Y'all getting like 90% of the questions right. Okay. All right. It's still 5. We got 5 for Kofi. We got 4 for Kemet. All right. Let me see here. Next question. Which British boxer was the last to hold the IBF, WBA, and WBC heavyweight titles at the same time?
Kofi knows the sports. I don't know.
Which British boxer, Black British boxer, obviously,
was
the last to hold the IBF, WBA, and WBC heavyweight titles at the same time?
I can't even name a British boxer, period. Kofi has a particular strength in sports knowledge, so we'll see.
I don't know. I don't think I know this one unless it's Someone recent.
I mean, it's probably who you think it is. Let's start with Kevin. What do you have, Kevin?
I left the paper blank on that.
That's sad. Kofi, come on, man. What do you have?
I went with the most recent one, Anthony Joshua.
Lennox Lewis.
Oh,
Lennox Lewis.
I just associate him with Jamaica for some reason. That makes sense. Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, Lennox Lewis, the one and only Lennox Lewis. All right, all right, all good, all good. Shout out to Lennox Lewis. Gotta love it. All right, next question. Who were the all-black regiments that patrolled the western frontier after the American Civil War? What were their names? They were soldiers that patrolled the western frontier after the American Civil War. Who were they? What were they known as? This is a classic house song, by the way. Y'all listening on the app?
I hear that. Sounds good. Who is that?
What is this? Let's Go by Fast Eddie, I believe. I better know my house history. All right. It was the name soldiers that patrolled the western frontier after the American Civil War. Let's start with you. What do you have? Kofi, what's up?
I went with the Buffalo Soldiers.
Correct. Kemet, what do you have? Buffalo Soldiers, correct. I love it. This is amazing. Y'all doing it. Okay. Still 1 point apart. Kofi has 6 and Kemet has 5. All right. Next question. Speaking of Howard University again, gotta love Howard University. Who was the first black president of Howard University?
Kim is gonna know this one.
I don't know.
The first black president. And I'll give you a hint. He served from 1926 until 1960. He was the 11th president of Howard University. He was the 11th president of Howard University.
I might have this. I might not. We're gonna have to see.
If you have this, it's gonna be a tie. You're gonna take this all the way home.
Yeah.
I mean, he was real light skinned too. Just he was real light. Unless like the photos don't do him justice, but the brother was mad light. But he was African American. What do you have, Kofi?
I wrote a great man.
That's a good answer, though. That's a good answer. What do you have, Kevin?
Mordecai Wyatt Johnson.
That's correct. Mordecai, am I saying it right? Mordecai Wyatt Johnson from 1926 until 1960. Like I said, the 11th president of Howard University. Very, very good. The brother was real light, though. He was on that Gene Toomer kind of light. Y'all know who Gene Toomer is, Harlem Renaissance. That's a little Black history comedy there. So we're tied now. We're tied. We got Kemet at 6, Kofi at 6. It is tied on this Black trivia quiz. Only got a few more questions left. All right. I'm gonna make it a bit harder.
Uh-oh.
I like that we're making it international because we as Black folks, we are a global people, right?
That's right. That's correct.
So the Baptist War of 1831 was a slave rebellion on which island? The Baptist War of 1831 was a slave rebellion on which island? Okay, Tina Marie, during the slave rebellion question. I'm all right with it. The Baptist War of 1831. I mean, it was, to a hint, it was in the Caribbean. It wasn't like a random island, It was in the Caribbean. The Baptist War of 1831 was a slave rebellion on which island? Now, we know it's not Haiti because Haiti got their independence in 1804. They were the first Black nation. All right. Kofi, let's start with you, brother. What do you have? Y'all tied. Come on now.
I went with Trinidad and Tobago.
Good answer, but incorrect. Kemet, what do you have?
I put Haiti, but I couldn't think of. I couldn't think of it. Yeah.
Jamaica. The
Jamaica.
Baptist War of 1831, famous slave rebellion on the island of Jamaica. All right.
Huh. Interesting.
All right.
Good one.
A few more questions left. Yeah, good one. Let's go to the Harlem Renaissance. This is a tough one. If y'all get this one, I'm gonna be shocked. This is one of my heroes who I just happened to attach myself to when I was in college. Who is known as the father of Harlem radicalism and famously said, quote, "I refuse to worship a lily white God and a Jim Crow Jesus," unquote. He is known as the father of Harlem radicalism. Wasn't Langston Hughes, wasn't Elaine Locke. Nah, he was the father of Harlem radicalism. Doesn't get if he has 3 names, if y'all get any of his names, that's a point right there. The father of Harlem radicalism.
I hear Kimmy writing.
I'm making some. You said 3 names, so I'm just giving one of the people I know with 3 names. But I don't think this is correct.
Kofi, what do you have, brother?
I have it blank.
It's all right. It's all right. We're about to honor him. He's an ancestor. Kevin, what do you have?
I don't know, but I put James Weldon Johnson.
Good. Lift every voice, right?
Right.
Dr. Hubert Henry Harrison. Dr. Hubert Henry Harrison. He was a radical. He spoke out against religion, which is very rare for the time. Dr. Hubert, and I believe he was from, oh my gosh, either St. Lucia, the Virginia Islands. I'm not sure, but really, I encourage folks to look him up. Dr. Hubert Henry Harrison.
Hubert Henry Harrison.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Shout out. Shout out. All right. One more question before we do our final big question. Who founded the city of Chicago? And I can't pronounce his name. I'm going to try. But who founded the city of Chicago? A black man, a lot of folks do not know, founded the city of Chicago. And I just found this out because I saw Mary Lori Lightfoot talking about her Black history icon, and she mentioned this man. I never heard him before. Mary Lori Lightfoot of Chicago. Kevin, we'll start with you. What do you have?
DeSable.
Correct, brother. That is amazing. Whoa. Jean-Baptiste Point DeSable. Who'd you have, Kofi?
I put black people.
Good answer, though. Good answer, brother. That's great. Oh, that's amazing, Kemet. Y'all in the lead, right? I'm sorry, Kemet's in the lead. 1 point in the lead. I love it. I love it. Okay. Final question. We called it our highly melanated question. All right. Final question. Again, Kemet is now in the lead. It's the comeback. You can get 13 points. I'm sorry, I said 12. You can get 13 points for this question.
Wow.
So whoever takes this home can take it home. Y'all have bragging rights. The Congressional Black Caucus was founded by 13 people in 1971. For each founder's name, you get a point. Name them. Ooh, Barbara Mason.
Wow.
What's that playlist? That's a lot of names to write down. So let them last name, it don't matter, y'all. But let me hear that Barbara Mason. This song is very interesting for my music heads. I'm not going to get into why it's so interesting, but it's interesting. But I love the beat. I first heard this song in a documentary called Paris is Burning, and I looked it up, and I said, wait a minute, this is a good-ass song. I love it. What did she say? Oh, Barbara Mason, she did the answer song to Shirley, Woman to Woman. And this was one of her follow-up songs. What up, Barbara Mason? All right, the founders of the Congressional Black Caucus, the 13 founders. Name them. Sadly, there was only one woman. Only one woman. Just one. The founders of the Congressional Black Caucus. Think about it. Process it. All right. Let's bring it down. Okay. Let's start Let's start with Kemet.
I only
Kemet,
have
tell
two
me-
names written, and I don't know if either of them are right. I put Carol Mosley Braun and A. Philip Randolph.
Carol Mosley Braun, A. Philip Randolph. Wait, let me just make sure. Let me get this up. Sorry, I was. That's incorrect, brother. But good try. Good try. Good try.
I tried.
Tell me what you got, Kofi.
Jesse Jackson and Byron Rustin.
That's amazing, and I love Bayard Rustin. He is the icon. You know, I've interviewed Mr. Jesse Jackson, Reverend Jackson, but that is incorrect. But those were good answers, though. Good answers. Let's say who they are. The 13 who founded the Congressional Black Caucus in 1971. Shirley Chisholm,
Oh,
of course, legendary Shirley Chisholm.
Yeah.
William L. Clay Sr. of Missouri. George W. Collins of Illinois. John Conyers Jr. of Michigan. Ronald Dellums of Cali. Charles Diggs Jr. of Michigan. Augustus Hawkins of Cali. Ralph Metcalf of Illinois. Perrin Mitchell of Maryland. Robert N.C. Nix of Pennsylvania. Charlie Rangel, who I love, best New York accent ever, of New York. Louis Stokes of Ohio. And Walter E. Fauntroy of D.C. The 13. The 13.
There's a couple of those I should have guessed, but I didn't think
Listen,
of them.
it's last minute. But that said, with 1 point, the winner of Black Trivia Quiz is Kemet Shockley, brother. You won.
Hey, thank you.
Give folks your Black Trivia Quiz speech.
Oh, this is a wonderful moment. I'm happy to win the Black Trivia Quiz. Please go to the movementwithkemetandkofi.com.